Matt Miller. Regret the podcast. Hi, this is Matt Miller, and welcome to Regret the Podcast, episode 7, my lucky number. Now, I didn't want to have to record an intro for this one, but while recording this podcast, I was drinking out of a Subway cup that had only soda in it, and the soda made me so loopy that when I went to go review all the footage on my camera, I deleted the first half of video footage. So this podcast only has the second half of the video footage. But I didn't want to re-record it because I thought it was fun, silly time. So people mostly listen to podcasts for audio, right? So you're going to get a video of me, but the first half of it, you're not going to get a video of me. But if you're just listening, it's the same fucking shit anyway. So yeah, this one I talk about a lot of fun, silly stuff, and I gradually get sleepier and sleepier and more soda-filled than maybe ever before. I think I had some notes for this one that I wanted to say up top, but I forgot. So I regret saying regret. I regret deleting the first half, and I regret not remembering what I wanted to say. But in either case, let's just cut to the audio. The audio. This is episode 7 of Regret the Podcast. All right. Hi, everyone. I'm Matt Miller, and this is Regret the Podcast, episode 7, I think. And it's just me again. So here I am. I'm wearing a white shirt with gray pants, in case you're wondering. And I'm recording this on St. Patrick's Day. And in honor of St. Patrick's Day, I got Subway today. And as you may know, their cups are green, the color of money, in the U.S., where I record these. And inside of this Subway cup is a delicious beverage that I am drinking. What a nice, delicious beverage that is. Yeah, Regret the Podcast, episode 7. Last podcast, I was almost naked. This one, I'm clothed. What did I say? Clothed. A lady friend of mine told me I should wear a nice shirt on these. And I said, fuck it, I'm just going to wear this. Show my belly like this. You see that if you're watching? Whatever. I mean, when you watch me, do you want to see me in a nice shirt sitting here? All in a nice shirt? Or do you want to see me like rough and tumble like how it is, you know? If you're listening, I'm very rough and tumble right now. Okay, well, let's continue. Let's make some noise here. Normally I wear headphones to make sure the audio is okay, but at this point in my life, I don't give a fuck. So hopefully the audio is okay. Maybe I should plug in the headphones, but I'm already this deep, so let's just keep things going. Oh, maybe I can reach around one sec. I'm going to reach for the headphones. I got them. Now, I don't know if you know this about headphones, but sometimes they break. And these ones broke. They broke, and I can only hear out of one ear. So that's great to only be able to hear out of one ear, you know? When you're doing a nice little podcasty cast, you can only hear out of one ear. But I mean, why do you need to hear out of two ears? It's like, why do you need two kidneys? You know, you can just give one to a fucking sick person and then they shove it in their ass and then it connects back to where their other kidney is shit and they shit out the other kidney and that's what a kidney stone is, right? Man. That's right. Good old Regret the Podcast. I am going to make, if you go to my YouTube channel, more videos that aren't the podcast, but I've been enjoying talking into this microphone and saying words to you so you could hear them, you know, like a fun little time. A fun little time to be had by all. All right, regrets. Burps. So this first one isn't a regret. It's just a silly story. No, I'll start with a regret. So there was I don't really regret this, but I was in a comedy competition once. I'm going to keep fucking this mic up and making like noise. I was in a comedy competition once, and it was in New Hampshire, and I did this joke. I said I was digging a hole in the woods. It was a grave, and I went inside. I was washing myself. I was washing my balls, and I found a tick on my balls. A tick. And ticks don't particularly stick tactically to testicles, so I easily took it off my balls and threw it out the window, right? This is a few months ago. The most important part about this story is the last thing to suck on my balls was a tick. So now I carry around salt and tequila, you know? So if I meet a young lady that likes me and I like her, I can be like, do you want to lick this salt, drink this tequila, then suck on these balls? Because I got Lyme disease. So that's the joke. That's the joke there. And I did whatever. But because I was in New Hampshire, somebody yelled out, my whole family has Lyme disease, as like a heckle. And I was like, oh shit. That's what's going to be most offensive here, my Lyme disease tick joke. My whole family has Lyme disease. So like I was like, all right, if that's what's going to be most offensive, let me do my joke about what today is. And it just so happened to be on 9/11. It was like, let me do my 9/11 bit. If you're going to be so offended. And then the audience laughed because they're like, oh yeah, that's not super offensive. And then he started to leave. And I was like, you better leave and go back to your Lyme disease-ridden family. And then the audience lost me. Because that was a little too much to say, go back to your Lyme disease-ridden family. And that was a competition to win $500. And I was, when I won back the audience, I should have stopped and not told the guy to go back to his Lyme disease-ridden family. But I didn't. And I came in second, and I feel like I could have won if I didn't add in that line at the end, but whatever. So I regret yelling that as he left. And then I proceeded to do the 9/11 joke, and it didn't go over that well because I had lost the fucking audience. Good old comedy, $500 down the drain. I don't know if I would have won if I didn't do it, but I felt good. My set was good. It was fun. It was really fun to do the set that I just did. You know what I'm saying? If I get real close to the mic like this, I can whisper. What else did I write down here? This is the first thing I wanted to talk about. The first girl I dated, I remember we used to like flirt with each other over AIM, Instant Messenger. I don't even know if anyone listens to this knows what that is, or if anybody even listens to this. But no, yeah, chat messaging online. You all know what it is. I'm just kidding. And we had been dating for a bit, right? And like one day, like my friends were coming over, and I was messaging her on AIM, and like it started to get real sexual. Like this is the first girl I dated. And I was just like, oh, what are you doing? She's like, oh, I'm sitting. I'm like, oh, yeah, you're sitting on that pussy of yours. She's like, yeah, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm sitting too. She's like, yeah, you got your dick there? I'm like, yeah, I got my dick here. What do you got over there? She's like, oh, I got my pussy over here. She's like, I'm like, oh, yeah, I got my dick over here. She's like, oh, yeah, I'm going to fuck you. And I was like, oh, I'm going to fuck you right in your pussy, put my dick and fuck you hard. She was like, yeah, that's so hot. We should fuck. And we were messaging each other back and forth. And then, like, I was getting all hard and shit. And then my buddies came over, and I was like, oh, fuck, my friends are here. I was like, hold that thought. I was going downstairs with my little boner I had, and I was just like, can you guys not be here? I was just having a nice AIM conversation where I was getting hard, and now you guys are here, and that ended it. And my memory, I don't know if I remember, but I think I made them all like go back home and then come back like an hour later. I'm not sure if that's true. It might be true. I remember I was down there. I was like, fuck, I was just having a real hot conversation. And then you guys come here and cock block me. I didn't expect to have such a sexual aim conversation and then have you fuckhead show up, you know? What a silly thing. And I think I went back up and I jerked off to the conversation. But maybe they just stayed and I was just like, fuck, why did I have you guys over? And I was just having this hot conversation. Can't remember. But I regret having my friends over that day, I guess. Because I should have just been jerking off to my girl there over the fucking internet. That would have been fun. Her name was Stephanie, and so I called her Steph. And one time I was just texting a name, and I just wrote stuff. And she got real mad about it. And I was like, we gonna do stuff. Yeah. No, she was cool. Nothing negative there. I remember one time, I probably have talked about this before. So if you know what I'm talking about, just fucking tune out for the next whatever. I forget what I did, and she was just like, she's like, this isn't all how it happens in the movies. And I'm like, the movies aren't real. Like she said to me, this isn't at all how it happens in the movies. And I'm just like, what do you mean? Like, well, I did something shitty. Or I don't even know what I did. I think I'm a little sick right now. But that's okay. You can listen to me sneezing. People love sneezing nowadays, I think. But yeah, I didn't even know what I did. And she's like, this isn't all how it happens in the movies. I'm like, movies aren't real. Movies also have like dinosaurs, and I just missed that trash completely. And like fucking superheroes and shit like that. Can't expect me to be like movie guy. Plus, movie guy isn't a real human being. He's a fucking fake person. Don't believe movie guy. Movie guy's a bitch. Movie by. That's a guy that's also in movies, but he's also not. He's movie by. He can be in movies or not in movies. Oh, I'm movie by. I'm walking around town like a fucking shit fuck face. God, I shouldn't be so tired. It's fucking 9:45, and I didn't do shit today. I went to Subway and got this green cup. I got a Gatorade here. Got all my shit here. Let me drink some more of this. What a nice, delicious beverage. Nothing is not delicious about that beverage. One time I did comedy when music was supposed to be scheduled. There was like 10 comics on the show, and I was like comic 7 or some shit. And music always trumps comedy in terms of what people like and want to see. So people showed up to the show expecting music, and then there was comedy. So they were like a little riled up. And I was up there slinging my hilarious jokes at everyone. And then I got heckled by a woman. She might have done like a "you suck" or something. And I was like, what fucking piece of shit said that or something? Maybe I said fag. I don't know. And she didn't speak up. And I was like, was it you? I'm like, was it you, lady? I don't even know what I said to her. Then her husband was like mad I was talking to her. So he had to go like defend her honor. So he came up to like the stage, and it was like, oh, you're talking to my wife this way? And he came up to like fight me. And then the booker like pulled me away, and I was like, oh, fuck. And then the show kind of ended, and she was like, you always get in fights when you're on stage? I'm like, no, this is literally the only time this has ever happened. And it was because of like circumstantial. They wanted music and there was comedy, and everyone was pissed. And then like we went to the bar next to it, and we tried to set up like a show there because we had like a speaker and stuff. And the bar was like, yeah, go ahead, set up in the back. And then people started to get up and shit. And then there's like a couple people at the bar, like townsfolk. This is in Hull, Massachusetts, in case you don't know. Actually, this bar was on an episode of like Restaurant Something where they like fixed restaurants. But anyhow, the townsfolk started watching, and then they didn't like it, and they started heckling there too. And then like it turned into like a whole debacle. of like arguing between like the townsfolk and us. And then I went to the bathroom and I came out. Like I was like, fuck, this is gonna be a big argument. I need to go to the bathroom. And like the two girls on either side were fighting. So I'm like, I'm just gonna take a piss. Like they weren't fighting. They were just yelling at each other, right? And then I came out of the bathroom and it turned into like a physical fight where like a dude got hit with a bottle. I'm like, what happened while I went to the bathroom? I thought you guys were just like arguing and shit. And then someone, like a dude was hit with a bottle, and then we all just left before the police showed up. And like no one on my side, the comedian side, was hurt, but a lot of people, but like one townsperson was hit with a bottle. I think one of our ladies hit him with a bottle, or I don't know what happened, but no one on our side was hurt. And I remember like one of there was a guy, an older guy who had like kids and a family. He's like, I can't be going out and getting into fights like this. I remember I also bought weed that night, and I'm like, oh shit, I gotta go. I was a little drunk too. I was like, I don't want the cops to find these drugs, you know? But that was an interesting night. We got into a little debacle. Only I think that townsperson was hurt. None of us were. I didn't have to. I think it was really just a thing between the girls defending honor or something. Yeah, I don't know. It seemed like it was just like a heckling argument, right? And no big deal. And then I went to the bathroom and I came out. And it turned into like a whole like fight thing. I was like, how did that happen so quickly? So do I regret any of that? No. It was fun. Fuck it. It was just interesting how it happened. A nice comedy fight. I haven't been like a comedy physical altercation like that since then, but that's just a fun story, right? A little comedy fight that happened. It was so stupid. Like, yeah, the guy came to the stage, nothing came of it. Then we went next door, and then we tried to start a show, and then that started another fight. It was just a big, angry comedy night. I used to stay at this place that was like, it was in like a real nice town, but the place we were staying in was like real shitty. My rent was like $400 a month, flat. And flat. I'll just say flat a bunch, like a flat-chested woman. Doesn't make any sense. And I had a roommate who was like, I don't know what kind of drugs he did, but every night he would like wake up in the middle of the night and like eat our food out of the fridge and shit. Like he'd get all fucked up and then eat our food, which was shitty. But he also paid for all the utilities. So like I only ever had to pay $400 every month. And then he would pay the rest of the utilities, which is crazy, just for him to eat food. I remember one time I like tested him. Like I put like ice cream in the fridge and then like I wrapped tape around it and shit to tape it shut. And he just like ripped off all the tape and stuff and ate it. And I remember like I like heard him fucking around. I went downstairs and like he ran to his room, and then I went to the fridge and some of the ice cream was eaten. I'm like, this dude is fucking nuts. And like I knocked on his door a bunch, but he wouldn't answer. And he would always like feel bad about it because I don't know what kind of drugs he was doing. And I remember he gave us like gift cards to make up for it, like $50 gift cards. And he paid the utilities. And eventually I was just like, fuck it. If he's going to pay for everything and I just have to pay the rent, I just won't keep food in the fridge. So I had my own fridge anyhow, and I just kept all my shit in there. And he still just paid all the utilities. Yeah. So what was the story I was about to get at? So like one summer when we were staying there, like I think the person that lived there before us was a drug dealer because we had like one big couch. Like there wasn't really like a living room, but there was like a couch in the kitchen. And like the middle like couch part was like slashed with like a razor blade. Like there was stuff stored in there or maybe. And then this kid that stole our shit was like, oh, I found this duffel bag. And it was just a duffel bag full of weed that he gave to me and my buddy. So like we just had like a full duffel bag full of like weed, like an entire duffel bag. And that summer we just got all fucked up. All summer. on the fucking weed that he found for free. We also used to buy weed from like the downstairs neighbor who had medical shit, and he was just like a stoner, like fat kid that just ate pizza. His parents had money, and like we would give him like $10 and he would just give us like a handful of weed. So we had all that free duffel bag weed. We just had that fucking constant weed connection downstairs. So like all that summer we were just like getting fucked up. We were just getting high as fuck. I remember I was just getting fat as shit that summer, just smoking weed. I wish I didn't eat so much and not exercise, but like we were like kids in the weed store that summer. And also I was like sleeping with this woman who had like a bunch of money and shit. So like I'd like hang out with her once a week, and like we'd hang out and fuck and shit. And then like the rest of the time, like I just began high with my buddy, and I'd be doing comedy and shit. And that was like a crazy time in my life. It just like flew by of just like me getting high and hanging out. Oh man, yawning is perfect for podcasts. And dating this older woman. This older woman had a lot of money. A lot to me. And I would still pay for shit though, because I'm a gentleman. I'll keep it sort of vague, but she worked for like a fashion company, and she was like a designer of stuff. And she bought me clothes, and we had just had a jolly good time together for like months, maybe 8 or 9 months, maybe 7 months of like, it was like a 7-month period where I was doing comedy, and I was just getting high as shit in my place because we had all this weed. And I was hanging out with this woman. I liked her. We were having sex. We were hanging out, you know, doing relationship shit. But we never were really together. We'd hang out like once a week. And she was cool. I liked her. She was older than me by 13 years. Had good money. Had fun times with her. She was cool. We did shit. I don't know. I remember one time it was like freezing out. We were like going to go get dinner, and we went to this like Chinese restaurant that was just so shitty. And that's the end of that story there. That's the end. We went to a shitty Chinese restaurant. But yeah, that was a weird period in my life, just like paying almost nothing for rent, getting high as shit, hanging out with this lady. And you know, just yawning at 9:55. So early. No regrets there. My only regret is that I ate so much. Like I got so fat during that time period. If you look online, I have like a video that I shot at Stadium, which is like a restaurant that had comedy shows. And there's this joke about how I don't like strip clubs, and like I'm real fat in that. And that's like during that time period of me just getting fat, just with that lady, just smoking, just having a jolly good time. Not really worrying about shit. But yeah. I met that woman at like a dance club. I was dancing real crazy. It was like a place that had like dollar beers. And like, it was like a young place. Like I shouldn't have been there, but she definitely shouldn't have been there at her age. But that was whatever. I mean, you can go anywhere. I don't really judge. She was a lady. She can go anywhere. But I was dancing real crazy, and she was looking at me, and I started talking to her. Like she was like a real look at me, talk to her, and then like we ended up making out, and then going to her place. And like I didn't sleep with her that night, but like I remember like dry humped her for a minute because I was real horny and shit. She's like, "You done?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm done." And then we went a few dates, and then we slept together and whatever. And that's how we met. That's the story. Yeah. That's right there. I'll cross that out. I'll cross this out. Cross all this shit out. I think I've talked about how I've done cough syrup to get high before, but I don't think I talked about one time. Did I already talk about this? It doesn't fucking matter. I'm not talking to anyone. And if you made it this far, you might be listening. But there was one time I was driving, and I was sort of like, I guess hungover from the drug, and I hit a car. This is my first car, and I hit The other car, oh man, yawning is perfect for podcasts and like how interesting I'm being. I just got to record it. But anyhow, I hit this other car. And I remember I was like slow, like cognitively to come to. And I just kept driving into the car. And then I was like, oh shit. And I had to back up. And it was a car that was hit by other cars before. Like it was like a parent would give the car to their kid. And like one side of the car was all banged up because of the sister. And the other side was banged up because of the brother or the son and daughter there. And I hit the other side, so the son's side. And I remember there was like a coffee shop nearby, and some bikers were like, I can make notice that I saw him hit it. So yeah, I was just like pulling out of an intersection one way, and I didn't notice a car was turning into it. I didn't see a blinker, and I thought the car was just driving straight up, but it was turning, if this makes sense. So I like drove into the side of the car. Yeah. But my car was still drivable. It needed like 35 or 4,000 in repairs. And it put a mark on my license. Ugh. And then, like, right when my license was like clear of this accident, I got a DUI. So, you know, I regret hitting that car. I'll regret recording this while I'm so tired because I feel like someone constantly yawning is bad for audio. But you know what? Fuck it. Fuckity fuck. I'm here fucking shit up, drinking out of my Subway cup. And that's the first part of the podcast. Let's cut to the commercial break. Regret the Podcast is brought to you by Bolt Action Rifles. Shoot things. Okay, welcome back to Regret the Podcast. I am Matt Miller. Remember at the end of last Regret, I said I was about to talk about some personal shit, but I'm not going to talk about some real personal shit on this one. I'm just going to be fucking silly ass shit. Look at me drinking Gatorade. Just being a pro. Podcast person. One time I was driving, same car that hit the other car, and I was pulling out of a gas station, and there was like a guardrail, and I took too sharp of a turn, and I like scraped up the whole side of my car, and I was like looking back at the gas station attendant, and I was like, oh, and he's like, I'm not going to do anything. I'm like, you're right. What are you going to do? I did all this, and I just drove away and fucked up the side of my car. So I regret doing that shit. Bourbon. So much fucking bourbon. And then I tried to sell that car, and like I used like the angle that didn't have the scraped up side. And I remember a guy came over to look at it, and like he's like, oh, I didn't know there was a scrape here. And I was like, what are you gonna do? And I think he was gonna offer me like 35 or $4,000 to buy the car for me. Maybe it was 32 grand or maybe three. And like he brought his kid. I remember one time he brought his kid. He was looking at the car, and then his kid went behind went on the other side of the car that we were on, and then we were looking at the car, and then we went around to the other side, and his kid just pulled down his pants and was just peeing on the fucking lawn. And I was like, what the fuck your kid is fucking peeing on the lawn? Like his kid was like less than 5, maybe 5. And he's like, oh, I'll give you $3,000 for the car. It's for my daughter. And I was like, I'll think about it. And then I never did it. And I eventually only got like $1,000 for the car. Oh man, sometimes I'm such an idiot. I should have just sold it to the dude at the time for $3,000. You know, I fuck up a lot. Fuck up so much. So I regret not selling it, but his fucking kid was peeing and it was all fucking shit. And then like he was even willing to buy it, even though he didn't know there was a big fucking dent on one side. It was like a Ford Explorer. It was a 97 Ford Explorer. And then this was, what year was this? I don't know which year it was. 2011, I guess. Yeah, I drove that car. I bought the car from my parents. I've told this story before. Drove it till 2011, and the car started fucking up in the game. Like, it started like spilling oil everywhere. And I remember I brought it to like a car shop to be fixed, and they're like, we can't even look at this. The engine's covered in oil. Next time, bring it in when it's clean. And I'm like, But yeah, so I ended up just scrapping that car, getting a new fucking car, which I totaled, and I never officially paid it off, but I got the money for it being totaled and then used that to pay off the rest of the car. So yeah. Fun times in life, you know, the funnest times you have when you're in a life and you're walking around and you got a dick and you think about so much stuff and you're like, who's that over there? Could be anyone. And you say, hey, fuck you, I'm not done singing a song on the loop-a-doo-doo. I don't know if more people would listen to this if I dressed better, because podcasts are very audio centric. So if I was like wearing a suit, it'd be like, I want to watch this shit. Fashion is fucking stupid. Suits and shit, it's all fucking made up, you know? Deciding what's like fucking cool and shit. It's all just like a perception. Like if I wore a tie, like you could easily just strangle me and kill me, hang me. It's like, why is a tie nice, you know? Tie's bullshit. Tie holds you back and fucks your shit. You don't want a tie because it ain't legit. If you quit, if you take a shit and mess around quickly and you act like it, fuck around town, bring it downtown, brown, like I'm all around town, like I'm around town, blown with the sound. If I talk about quick shit, click pit, everybody's clip, pick a shit, fucking chicks, like you fuck away and you fuck up shit and you take away the shit and act like you don't say away the gay. Anyhow, one time I got this girl's number in Providence, Rhode Island. It was a Spanish lady. Spanish mamacito, is that racist? And I was texting her to go on a date. And there's this thing in Providence called the Providence Water Fires, in which they put a bunch of like wood and fire. There's like a water system, like a river. It's not really I feel like it's a man-made river that goes through Providence. And they put a bunch of like little like fires in the middle, like they have these little setup things, and then people on like gondolas, is that what they're called? Like where they wear like the mime outfit and they sing and fucking row along. People walk around the side of the river at nighttime in the summer. So I was inviting her to this thing called the Providence Water Fires, but the way I invited her, I said, hey, this Saturday at this time, I want to meet, buy some water with some fire. And then she didn't message me till the time of the date. She's like, are you a serial killer? And I'm like, why? Are you looking for me? And she was like, no. I was like, all right, I'm still in the game. And then I think it ended. I was just like, she was like, no. And I was like, or maybe she played along. I was like, why do you think? I was like, when she wrote, like, are you a serial killer? I was like, all right, it's my time to shine. I was like, why? Are you looking for me? And then she's like, yeah, arrest you. And I was like, all right, well, let's meet up. And then nothing happened. I sort of forget how the text exchange went. I've been drinking a lot of this Subway drink here. This mysterious Subway drink. I remember I was dancing with her friend who I liked more, who was cool and I think liked me more, but she was jealous, and then she started fucking around with me. And she was like super aggressive, so like I ended up hanging out with her. But like, I should have just stuck with our friend. So that's a regret. Anyhow, I remember I went back to the same club and I ran into her again, and her friend was like, "Oh, you're so hot, da 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 da." And I was still trying to fuck with the one chick because she had rejected me. And then my buddy came over and was like, he's a serial killer. And then she was like, "What?" And then she left. And I was like, "Fuck you." And then nothing came of it. This is a while ago. I remember I was dating this girl and then we broke up. And like my first time out being single, we went to the same bar where I met this other girl in Providence. And then I met this woman, and then like it was whatever, and she was like trying to teach me how to pick up chicks. And then like after like I didn't drink that much, and then after like the bar closed, she was like, "You want to come over and have sex?" And I was like, "All right." So then she drove me and my buddy to her apartment, and she was real fucked up and I wasn't. I remember she was like trying to put up a post to her and it just kept falling. And I was like, this is not what I should be doing. And I was like, all right, let's go. And then she ended up driving me and my buddy back. And that was that. There was no sex involved. I was too sober and she was too drunk and I wasn't about that life. So yeah. You want to come back to my place and have sex? I remember a friend was like, I can't remember what her name was. It was like, "Jessica, you can't say that." And I'm like, that's funny. And then I went back and we were like talking and like her roommate was all like pissed off that we were loud because it was super late. And then she drove us back and she was like drunk. The worst part is I allowed her to drive. That's not the worst part. But like, it was like, "Oh, I'm not going to sleep with you, but I'll let you drive me around even though you're so fucked up." She was like, she knew I was like a comedian, so she said, "Tell me a joke." So I was like, "All right, I'll tell you a joke." I said, "I read somewhere that bears can be both gay and straight. Does that make the bears in the Arctic bipolar?" And then she was like, "Okay." And then her friend like took my seat and then like I left. And then she gave me a number and it was like a fake number and that was it. But I was just like, I'm not going to tell you one of my real jokes, So I told her some fake shitty joke. Then she kicked us out, me and my buddy. That was a funny time. Yeah. So yeah, today's St. Patrick's Day. That means nothing to me. I may or may not be Irish. I don't know. My Nana doesn't know. Nobody knows. I have no pride in being any heritage. I don't really care. That shit doesn't matter to me, I just like try to live my life through my actions and let people judge me by the content of my character, not by the color of my skin, MLK shit. So like, I have no ties to anything. I don't give a fuck. I think if your like reality is based off your like heritage, then like what are you? Be your own person. You don't have to be anything. You can decide how you act and view the world. I think definitely different cultures are good for like food and art and perspectives and shit. But you don't have to be whatever you are. You can be whoever you want to be. Sometimes I think people use what they are as excuses to be shitty. You know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to think of a good non-offensive example for you folks. Like, "Oh, I'm Italian, I'm loud." But it's just like, you don't have to be loud because you're Italian. You can just not be loud. I don't know. Just be your own person. Don't let the past or cultures or heritage affect how you are. Oh, man. Burping up a storm over here. I think I'll end with this. Damn it. So I have not done cocaine, but if I have done it, the first time I did do it, I had to like Google how to do it. Like a real amateur. Did I talk about this? Because I didn't know how to do it. And like it turns out you don't just like go just like suck it all in. Like you got to suck it in sort of like into your nose, but not all the way in. Because if you suck it all the way in, it goes into like your throat. And you can like taste it and it numbs your throat. And then you're not getting the effects. And you're just like fucking shit off, just a waste of money. You got to suck it kind of into your nose and let it go into the membrane. And then the effects kick in. But I was Googling that because I was like, I did not buy this cocaine. And I was like, why isn't it affecting me? So I had to Google how to do it, which is silly. Yeah, I remember I went through so much. I spent $100 and I finished it in like 2 days. And then like the next day after I had done it, like my nose was bleeding so much because like it's like $100 worth of cocaine. I don't know how much it was, like a gram, 2 grams, whatever. It would make sense. I'm not good with knowing the drugs and what it is. My nose is just bleeding. It was a whole fucking thing. Such a shitty ass weekend, actually, that weekend, but that was a whole fucking time. That was a weekend of regret. A weekend of regret, that cocaine weekend. It's when I fucked up shit with some chick because she kept fucking with me. And then, like, I was, like, being combative to her being kind of a shithead. And then things ended, and that was all shitty. And then, like, I did more cocaine that night, and it was just, like, a whole fucking event that happened that I'm disappointed with. And I think about a lot how things went down. This is being super vague here. Just a tough thing to talk about. That weekend in particular. It's a big, like, jarring memory of fucking shit up, of doing drugs, and then fucking shit up with a girl who was an asshole that I was really attracted to. And then she wasn't. I mean, she kind of was shitty. But I liked her. She wasn't like totally shitty, but she was shitty, and I liked her. And things ended. Yeah. And then later in the months, I started going to therapy and talked about like how I just overthink things and ruminate. And then therapy was trying to tell me how to deal with shit. Therapists. That's how I got my photo of, like, I have a photo of me in the tub holding a toaster, which is, like, on my Facebook and Twitter and all my social media shit. It was because I had a joke about it. The joke was, oh, yawning as fuck right now, was, I'm having, like, online dating. I don't know what to put on my profile pic. Should be, like, a picture of me alone without my buddies, or me with my buddies. I just need something better than my current pic, which is me in the tub holding a toaster. Like, implying that, like, it's like online dating makes me want to kill myself. Was the joke. And then I ended up shooting the picture for real. It used to be just a joke. And then I shot for real. Because, like, one of the therapists was like, you got to take a bubble bath. So I took a bubble bath. And I was like, well, if I'm going to take in a bubble bath, I might as well shoot the toaster pic. And my roommate helped shoot the toaster pic. Then everybody liked that pic. And then I started having shirts with it on and shit. And it was a whole thing. So the cataclysm of that shitty night with the cocaine, and the next day fucking it up with this chick who I liked, and then the whole horrible weekend led to me creating like my whole fucking brand image of me in the tub holding a toaster, which is fine. You know, negatives to positives, positive to negatives. Fucking life is a fucking roller coaster of fucking fuck-ups and regrets and doing the wrong things, doing the right things, wishing you had done things, wishing you hadn't done things. It's just a whole fucking thing, life. It's just a whole fucking thing. And you never really figure it out. Maybe you do. Maybe I'm still too young, but I feel like my parents still know what's up, you know? It's just a whole fucking thing, and then you die. What's that, like Biggie? I'm sure it's been said before that it was like life's a bitch and then you die. It's just a bunch of shit and then you fucking die. And that's it. That's it. So, thanks for listening. Let me take one more swig of this delicious Subway drink. Ooh. Yeah. So be nice to one another. That's what my fucking high school principal or vice principal would always end their shit with. They're like, be kind to one another. I think I mentioned this before. Like my first day in high school, I remember there was like this kid with a backpack, this other bigger kid. Like the first day of high school, went over to the backpack, opened it up, took out the notebook, closed it, and the kid just laughed and he walked away. I just witnessed like bullying in its pure form. I'm like, oh shit, this is high school. That was silly. Life is silly. Everyone's silly. We're all gonna die one day. So do something with yourself, or don't, you fucking idiot. Well, I think somebody listens to this, and maybe they make it to the end, but maybe they don't. That's whatever. I'm going to keep doing them, using my time to record these fuck sessions. So I've been Matt Miller. If you want to find me on social media, I'm Matt Miller Real on Twitter, Matt Miller Real on Instagram, Matt Miller Real on Facebook. I'm 7 on YouTube. Want to send me an email, mattmillercomedy@gmail.com. Anything else? Want to fuck me? Send me a message. But I'm not really into dudes. If you're a chick, maybe. I don't know. But that is the podcast. Hopefully you enjoyed and you like it. And that's it. Thank you. I've been Matt Miller.